Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Fulfilled Musicpreneur podcast. Hope you've had an amazing week. This has been a very eventful week for me. I've had two out of three events that I made, um, and lots of takeaways. Um, so this episode is just going to be about the things that I've learned this week because one of the reasons why I started out on this coaching journey was because I love learning and discovering new strategies, new things that work, new things that I'm passionate about. And I love to share it with my listeners and my followers and my clients. So today you're going to be in for a treat because I'm going to talk about lots of different things that I learned here and there. I started off by going to a pastor's. It was like a conference, and one of my dad's friends, who is a bishop. I've known him since my teenage years. So he's a bishop, and he holds these yearly conferences in the UK where he mentors other pastors. So I got invited there. I led worship and I sang one of my songs. It was really good to see that other pastors also um, have to be accountable and also get mentored because sometimes we don't see the side of things, but we know it's important. So it was great to see like there was like 30 to 40 pastors in a room all being mentored by another pastor. It was great to see. Um, I felt very fortunate and I felt blessed to be in that room. And I actually got to talk about music ministers and the things that are important to us as music ministers in all churches and how they could support um, not just their choirs, but also most especially songwriters and how they could create an atmosphere that will nurture creativity because it's really important to note that God is raising an army, not just of pastors or of Christians, but also of worshippers, of Levites that will lead the church. Just the way Levites led the church into battle sometimes in the Bible, the same way today we lead the church as well. Not just we're not just doing it on Sundays when we start the service. We do it even in our day-to-day lives by releasing songs into the world that the church can listen to and get inspired and edified by. So I just talked about that a little bit and said they had the responsibility of nurturing creatives in their church so they could use these gifts to edify the church. So yeah, that was great. And then this weekend, I went to an event called the Moneymaker Summit, and this was held by an organization that is a training organization, and they train on various things. So they train on properties, they train on speaking. So I've joined a speaker mastermind with them. They train on business. So I went to the Entrepreneurs Business School end of last year with them, and I've learned a lot about business. But I've just learned over and over again by going to these trainings that they have. And if I can, buy more things to keep learning or just attend the free trainings. And this is what I keep saying. There is so much free training everywhere because most businesses get clients by first giving free resources, free training. And those free training, honestly, are so valuable. And even if you just start listening to these things and putting them to work, they'll go a long way. So do not, the thing is, people don't pay attention when it's free. Doesn't mean the free stuff is not valuable. So when you are ready to learn, which you should be, everyone should keep learning. One of the things I took away from the conference earlier this week was that the first principle of discipleship is to keep learning. We never stop. Even pastors never stop. So if you decide that you're going to keep learning, even when you can't afford it, there's lots and lots of places where you can get free resources from to train yourself, to grow, to learn. So this weekend, it was I think it was free because it was 2 full days and I paid like 30 something pounds. That's free essentially. It's like paying for administrative fees or something. And there were like 4 to 5 speakers. And I'm going to talk about my takeaways from 2 of the speakers. So they're the ones that I got a lot more that I can apply. There were lots of other things that were shared, but for this podcast, I'm going to talk about these 2 things. I'm going to talk about mainstream media, and number 2, I'm going to talk about selling. That's the summary of it all. Right. So Matt Fides is an entrepreneur that became a millionaire, I think at the age of 19 years of age. He was successful early on because he went into property, but he started out by being a martial art expert, and I think he won lots of awards for that. But then he used the money to invest in property. So he was successful quite young. He was already known to mainstream media, appearing on TV shows and things like that. And with all of that attention, he was able to snag himself the job of being Michael Jackson's bodyguard. So when people talk about him, he's more known for being Michael Jackson's bodyguard. And you will see pictures of them ages ago, and he looked quite young. And he worked with him for a while, and he had lots of stories to share. But essentially, over the years, he's moved on to other things. Last year, he won 2 awards. I think Entrepreneur of the Year and Franchiser of the Year, something like that. So this is someone who is essentially really wealthy and loves to share knowledge with people. So he talked about mainstream media and how to hack it and all of the crazy things he's done in the past. I call them crazy because I will not do half of the things he does. But it goes to show what people do and how it can help their businesses. So essentially, first of all, would you believe that Michael Jackson actually created, or should I say, he orchestrated a lot of the crazy stories that was out there for him. So he actually created he actually created some situations where he looked either ridiculous or he looked crazy. There was a picture of him walking around with post-its all over his face. But many of these things he did because he knew he would be on social media everywhere. The newspapers and the media and TV would carry it, and sometimes not in the best light. But he knew that if mainstream media was talking about him, that helped his business. So this is what a lot of people do. So the takeaway is that the more people know you, they search you, and your business income essentially goes up because they're searching, they're buying, and this is how a lot of business people hack the media. So Matt Fides shared lots of stories about him actually engineering situations where it looked like maybe a star. So he talked about two female stars that had come out of, was it Love Island, and one of these TV shows that was quite popular. And they would work with him as their personal trainer. They will engineer a situation where they will take some pictures. So one picture looked like she was tickling him, but actually she was punching him. But they used that photo, and they so this is the funny thing, they actually engineer the headlines. They do it themselves, and then the headline goes crazy and it's plastered everywhere. And actually, he spoke to his wife before he did this. He's like, look, I have this opportunity to do this to help this girl. She wants to raise her status and visibility, and this will help. And this is what he did. So he had like a social media outfit or agency that he worked with, and they will do crazy things like this. And he essentially talked us through different pictures, different scenarios where they will set things up, take pictures for like 2 minutes, get a really good picture that's looked awful, looked bad, like maybe, oh, he was cheating on his wife or something. And they will come up with a really snazzy headline, and then he'll go out and and everywhere will run with it. And he would literally show a correlation between his name being in the social media, or should I say mainstream media, and his business and his bookings and his students going up. So that was interesting to hear. So for us who are artists, who definitely don't want to do things like this, what is my takeaway for this? I think essentially one thing he said was, find the story around what you do. Find the story around what you do. And this is what we do sometimes when we try to write our bios, when we write our media press releases. We look for a narrative, something interesting. We come up with a snazzy headline. Now, it takes work. It takes studying other people's press releases, but you come up with your own headline. Look for something interesting. His story, one of his stories was that he had a bully when he was in high school, and this made him learn self-defense. And that's initially how he got into martial arts. And then he learned, became really good, became the best, won a lot of awards, and then spun it and spun it into the story. A man who was bullied learns martial arts and goes on to train many more people. You see the narrative there. And they actually were looking for this bully. And they found the bully many years later. He was doing quite well, but he came on a show, and the guy was a little bit worried, saying, oh, what's Matt Fides going to say to him? But Matt Fides just said to him, look, I just really want to thank you for being my bully in school, because you you made me learn martial arts. You made me learn how to protect myself. You essentially made me a millionaire. And that went viral. So there's lots and lots of different things that you can do around what you do, your story, where you originated from. Has something difficult happened to you? Have you lost someone? Have you gone through something really difficult? And how can you tell a narrative saying, I went from this to this, and I'm now using the experience to do this for my community. Write that press release and send it to your press, to your local press, your regional press. Just send it out. You have nothing to lose. And there was another really important point he made. He said, because of social media, things have, should I say, died down, or they're struggling essentially. Our local presses are struggling and are looking for stories, are actually looking for content. So if you're doing this, it's going to be real easy to get on press. However, the quality of should I say, work, and the advantages that this will bring to your business is exponentially higher than what social media will do for you. So that's just something to think about. I don't think a lot of us realize that social media is the impact of social media on our businesses is way less than actual mainstream media. So newspapers, magazines, TV, radio. So I think we need to learn how to use them more. Just keep looking out for these stories. So that's definitely something I've taken away. That's definitely something I'm going to look into doing. And I think once you're able to find a story, especially if you're doing something with the community. So for me now, I can say a pediatrician who sees a lot of teenagers struggling with mental health has written some songs around mental health for the community. I can probably do a little bit more work on that. But if you're doing something that is different to help your community, that's a story. If you're having an event and you're raising funds for a charity because of something you went through where that charity helped you, or something around the advantages of that charity, if they did something for you and now you're giving it back to the community, you're giving it back to the charity, that is story worthy. So there's a lot that we can do to spread more publicity about what we do as artists, because we do a lot. There's a lot that we do, and if you're not sure what to do, then you need to start thinking about it, because our music can go a long way. If you're struggling to find how your music helps people, then you probably should be thinking about the sort of music you're releasing, because I passionately believe in writing and releasing music that will impact your community. There's a lot of music out there that may not do that, but that's what, as Christians and as artists, that's a huge part of what we can do to help our communities, releasing music that will help people. And when you do, it's newsworthy. So shout it out from the rooftops. Let eyes see it. Get more eyes on it. Get more eyes on it, because when you get more eyes on it, the impact increases. Okay, now, next, I remember other hacks like taking pictures with, if you meet someone who's really famous, take a picture with them, because that's social proof. It can raise your status. To be honest with you, I really don't care about things like that, but other people do, and just seeing it on social media might want TV stations and radio and other people like that, might make them want to interview you more. So get lots of social proof if you can. Also, he talked about story hacking and how anyone can do it. So if you have a niche, and you say you're passionate about something in particular, look for stories around it and use these stories. So he talked about when Kim Kardashian was robbed in Paris, and how when it happened, it was bedtime essentially, but he got a call from his staff saying this story just broke and you need to get on it. So he, being a bodyguard and self-defense expert, was able to go on the news and say, I've just seen what happened to Kim Kardashian, and there are 6 ways that her bodyguards failed to do what they were supposed to do. And he literally pointed those things out, and it went viral. He managed to go on 60 interviews in 48 hours. 60 interviews, because every station all over the world internationally wanted to interview him. It was just mad. It was literally mad. And he said that was hard because he barely got any sleep in 48 hours. There were helicopters above his house just trying to get interviews with him. It was that crazy. But he was on the news everywhere because he had gotten on that story as an expert in the field, saying these bodyguards did not do what they were supposed to do, or this would not have happened. And Kim Kardashian actually rang him and said, hey, thanks for pointing this out. I fired my staff. But essentially, this happened, and what happened to his business? Sales went up, sales went through the roof. That was just an interesting story to hear. I remember the lady sitting next to me said, maybe Kanye is trying to orchestrate stories that make him look crazy just so people can keep talking about him on social media. And I was like, oh my goodness, but you never know. You never know, right? It just makes you see things from a different perspective sometimes. Anyways, so that is social media hacks. Not social media, mainstream media hacks. So have you had any experience with this? It will be amazing to hear from you. If you've sent out press, any tips that you have for our listeners, you can post it in the YouTube channel. What experience have you had? What stories did you send to them that really helped your business? I would be grateful and interested to hear what you think and what your experience has been so far. So moving on, the next speaker that I really took a lot away from him is someone called Paul O'Mahony. Now, he's someone who has started this company called Rethink. So he's written multiple books. There's a book, one of his books actually here, Rethink Social Media. And essentially, he talks about he talks about how we all have phones and we all have social media on our phones constantly in our grasp, and how many of us buy stuff on social media. Therefore, other people are making money through us on social media, and how we just need to spend some time to turn that around so we can also make money on social media. He talks about lots and lots of different ways that you can make money on social media. And I've actually heard this guy talk before. So I've made some huge moves in my business recently. I've joined 2 masterminds. I've made some big investments. So I'm like, okay, spent out when it comes to courses. But I heard him talk and I was like, oh my goodness, I need this guy's course. I need this. He was just so good. One of the things that blew my mind was when he was talking about how he's like, do you have a business? If you don't, just go open one. Just go open one, because there's so much you can do with a business. And I've heard about people who weren't sure what they were going to do in their business, but they opened one because they knew that they were going, they wanted a business, they wanted to earn that way, they wanted to have to bring income in through their own businesses. Someone was playing around with what she was going to offer, she got on Kajabi, and she was like, "Oh, I love this platform. Wow." And you know what her business was? Teaching other people how to use Kajabi. So if you don't know, Kajabi is a platform where you can have websites on it, you can have your email platform on it, you can sell on it, you can have courses on it. It's actually a great platform. And this is what she did. So inspiration can come from anywhere, but just taking out the time, first of all, and registering the business was one of the first things he said. He's like, if you don't have a business, just go register one. And then he talked about lots and lots of different strategies. I'm just going to mention a few that really blew my mind. So he was like, his wedding, he was able to get his wedding as a write-off because he said the trip had to do with work as well. So essentially, something about if you travel and you do work there, the trip can, you can get taxed back on the trip or something like that because it's a business expense. So if he said if you travel to maybe Dubai, you shoot an ad in Dubai, you could say this was a business trip and put that on your business expenses. And he was like, he did that for his wedding. Obviously, not all of it, but I was like, wait, what? Um, so he talks about all these crazy things. For us, by the way, if you are a course lover like myself, you buy program after program because you are on a journey of learning, this one is going to blow your mind if you don't know it already. So when you get buy your courses and you pay tax on the courses, so plus VAT plus VAT, you can get all of those back. All of those back. And if you're like me and you've bought lots of courses and paid thousands and thousands for courses, you've probably also paid thousands for VAT. You just need to claim them back when you have a business. So if you so yeah, I'm currently working on those. I have accountants now and I'm working on getting those done. So that's essentially, if you don't have a business registered, you're leaving money on the table already. So go register your business and start finding out how you can start claiming things back. What else did he say that I really loved? He talked about Amazon. You can sign up as an Amazon partner, and when you buy things from Amazon, you get some payments as well because you're a partner. And when other people around you are buying stuff, even if it's trips, traveling, flights, packages, if they get it through your like affiliate details, you get paid. So that's something real easy that we can do. If you are married, one of you become the Amazon partner, and then your spouse just buys through your account every time for the house and you get paid. So there's lots of different things that you can do that we actually don't know. And then he went on to talk about funnels. Oh my goodness. And so funnels is something I teach in my coaching. And there are things that I've started looking into. I attended Funnel Hacking Live online this year for the first time. And I loved the event so much. It was mind-blowing, as a lot of people experience when they go on the event. You just see people in the business world making giant strides, and you're just like, what is happening? And it just inspires you. It really does. So as I've been learning about funnels and learning how to use ClickFunnels now for my business, and he talked about that. But he also talked about when you create webinars, how to make the best of it. And he went through like a long list of things to do. But what I loved most was on how you create your irresistible offer. That's the word I'm looking for. Irresistible offer. So I've had some of these before, so I know what he's talking about. If you ever go for an event where they give you lots and lots of strategies, free strategies to help your business, lots and lots of different things you can do, and they say at the end, by the way, if you want to work with me more, if you need some support to implement all of these things we've talked about, if you need some accountability, if you need a community where you're seeing other people do it as well, so you can ask questions, they give you a long list of things that they can do to support you. And then they tell you the actual prices for each and every one of them. But they say, but on this occasion, they're going to offer it at this price, which the price is really low, really, really low. But then they go on to tell you some other bonuses. They go on to tell you some other guarantees, things like if you don't like it, no questions asked, you get your money back, things like that. And it's a no-brainer. Like, it's really, if you have the money and you have no reason, you will feel silly not to take them up on the offer. That's what an irresistible offer is. Now, I've been working on it for my business for a while. I think I'm hitting the sweet spot, but just hearing people talk about it and hearing people see it is honestly even more, should I say, profitable. It's so much more helpful because seeing it in action is amazing. Seeing it and knowing that you can do it, it's just amazing. So some people don't like being sold to. They attend a free event and they're like, ooh, no, I don't have the money, so I'm not going to sit through this. I'm going to leave. Well, that's all well and good, but you are missing out on learning how to sell, because we all have to sell in our businesses. I mean, you're an artist, you're going to have to sell why people should listen to your song, why they should care you've released the song, why they should go listen to your music video, why they should buy your merch, why they should come to your concerts. All of these things are strategies that you can learn so you can get the desired results when you sell. I mean, even asking people to fund your maybe if you're having a crowdfunding campaign, or to partner with you, you have to learn how to sell. You do. So the fact that you don't want to be sold to, you don't have money to buy anything, does not mean you can't see through it. Watching these people sell, oh my God, it's like a work of art. It really is. So yeah, there is a lot that you can learn, and that this is one of the things I'm doing in my challenge. So I have a challenge coming up in 2 weeks called Monetize Your Music, and I'm going to be sharing strategies on how, as an artist, you can bring in income into your business by using strategies that I will share with you. So many different things that, like, the sky is, the possibilities are endless. Honestly, you need to come to this. You're going to learn so many new strategies that you can apply straight away. Oh my goodness. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. But honestly, if you are serious about monetizing your music and running a profitable music business, you need to come to this. There's just so many things that I've learned that I have either applied or I am applying, and already. So when I started all of this last year, I had no idea how to sell. And my first sales was starting from my crowdfunding campaign. And I passed half of my targets, and I consider that good because I hadn't even released music at all. So I thought that was great. And then I had my first event and I had no clue how to sell. And my second event, I was like, getting better. And my third event, I was like, yes, I think I'm hitting the sweet spot finally. So it takes a while. It's a journey, but you have to start from somewhere. You have to know how you can create products around your music, how you can create offers. Offers are bigger than products. So a product will just be buy my song. An offer could be buy my song, and I'm going to have a one-on-one session with you on how to apply the lesson of this song to your life. you know so it's a step further. So it's essentially, you could say, buy my course along with coaching, one-to-one support, a community. Now you're making an offer, right? But then irresistible offer even takes it to a whole new level. You're adding bonuses. Yeah. So I'm going to go into all of that during this event. These are things that you can learn, and you're missing out big time if you're not learning it, because you will need to know how to sell to run a profitable music business. Okay. So this brings me to the end of this podcast. I hope you've been blessed. And I hope to see you at the event next. So it starts on a Saturday. It starts 1st of July, 2nd July, 3rd of July, 8:30 p.m. UK time. I'm going to put the link in the description. Sign up and bring your friends, because this is going to be real good. And they are going to thank you for bringing them to this event. I'm going to sign off now. Take care. Have a lovely rest of your week. Bye for now.